Hola, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? In 2019, an Indonesian philosopher, Mr. Rocky Gerung, was in a controversy because of his statement. In that case, he stated that holy book is fictions, and this raised the anger of most Indonesians. For most Indonesians, fictions is something which contains imaginations and other imaginations, which is not true, not real, and not fact. While holy book, as religious people, they believe that it is, a guidance, a sources, reference, how to live, how to do blah 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 and blah blah blah, including how to worship God. And holy book such as Quran, Bible, Veda and Tripitaka comes from God. So if someone said that it is only imaginations and imaginations, they will be disappointed and blamed. So then, some Indonesian public figures did some efforts in order to respond the statement of Rocky Gerung. Politicians, social media influencers, and also preachers, they did various efforts, such as, stating that Rocky Gerung was atheist, immoral, stupid, didn't understand religion, didn't understand what holy book is, only understand, philosophy. And, the other one, they also reported him to the police. And, understanding his positions, Rocky Gerung defended himself by clarifying that what he meant by, holy book is fictions was not, stating that holy book is not real, is not true, or is not fact, or only contains imaginations and imaginations. But however, the police required him to come to police stations to undergo investigations. But after the investigations, he was free. He was not catched by the police because police could not find the mistakes or blame, let's say blasphemy, blaming a religion in his statement, because he could, measure the police what he meant. Even though the case was closed now, was already closed, we can take, something as a learning from that case, that why the controversy came up was because there were two perspectives regarding to the word fictions. Most Indonesians, thought at that time that fictions was something, is something which is not real, not fact, and blah blah blah. While holy book must be real, must be fact, because they believe that it comes from God. But I don't want to talk about the law, the controversy of blah blah blah. Let's focus on the word fictions and what fiction is and how does it matter, and is it in contrast to the holy book? Let's discuss in this class with me, Redika, Cindra, Reranta. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before discussing about fictions, I prefer to discuss first about literature, because usually we discuss fictions in the discussions of literature. Well, literature is the manifestations of human thoughts, feeling, imaginations, or expressions in form of written or spoken, created to be historized, read, or performed. Well, literature has some types. Popularly, they are drama, poetry, and prose. Prose, could be in form of short story or novels, and prose also, could be could be mentioned as fictions. Now we go through to the word fictions. What fictions is? Well, fictions is any creative work, chiefly any narrative work, portraying individuals, events, or places that are imaginary or in ways that are imaginary. Okay? from the quotations, we could take this one. We could take two points that literature, fictions is a narrative and fictions is imaginary. So we find the word imaginary there. But is it always in contrast to the reality, to the fact, to the holy book? Okay, now let's discuss more. Well, a literature, ladies and gentlemen, is created by some, influencing approaches. What are they? First of all, it is psychological approach. Well, psychological approach is a psychological influence or psychological problem, which is faced by the author of fictions. So then the author, took the psychological problem into a novel. For example, just like the novel Salah Asuhan or Wrong Upbringing by Abdul Muiz, which tells a story about Hanafi Minans, who leaves away his community and hometowns in order to be westerned like a girl whom he loves, because he wants to get married to the girl. So he does some efforts in order to be western like the girl. But after that, after years by years, Hanafi got a psychological problem, and he really wants to go back to his community, but his community, do not accept him anymore. And it was taken from the real story. The second one, it is sociological approach. Well, sociological approach portrays social problem faced by author or happens in a period of time, and portrays in fictions. Just like the novel from Chinua Achebe, Things Fall Apart, it portrays social stratifications, social, classes, Christianity, and also colonializations by European colonializations in Africa. And Chinua Achebe also discussed how people struggles in that social stratifications. The third one, it is biographical approach. This, tells about biography of a person. Well, just like the novel Rainbow Troops from Andrea Hirata, which tells about the author's real experience. So in the novel, it talks how the author lives his childhood and then got adulthood and live his life day by day. That's biographical approach. And the last one, it is intertextual approach. This, is created in order to respond other texts or other fictions. Just like, the novel Arrow of God from Chinua Achebe, which responds his previous fictions, Things Fall Apart. Understanding these four approaches, we could find that, literature or fiction doesn't always mean something which is not true, not real, not fact, only contains imaginations and other imaginations. But fictions also portrays reality, fact, and truth. Okay? Just like the social or psychological problem, just like the biographical experience, and also just like the intertextual response, which we find also in Holy Book, right? And we have discussed what literature is. Literature is not always imaginations, but also thoughts, feeling, and experience. And also we find them in Holy Book, right? So far there is no problem. Okay, sorry. The problem is in the word imagination. Well, Harari said fictions is not always something about imaginations, but something which brings imaginations. Just like ideology of communism, let's say. Communism brings our imaginations. You know, how to have society with no social classifications, or let's say liberalism, how to have competitive society. Okay, that's also fictions, he said. Just like when we read holy book, we find some discussions about how, and also